Hello there. Welcome to another episode of Electric Sheep. Um, I guess we'll just get things going with the end of death.
The end of death. There came a day when the world stood still, though no clock stopped and no winds ceased. It was not silence that marked the moment, but a ripple, subtle and everywhere. A man in Mumbai reached for his chest, expecting the usual pain, but found none. A woman in Lagos stumbled beneath a falling beam and rose without a scratch. A child in Toronto drowned beneath the ice and returned gasping, not with water in her lungs, but laughter. Death ended quietly, without fanfare. The old rules collapsed like worn parchment touched by rain. The Reaper, if there had ever been one, had vanished. At first there was terror. Doctors could not explain the sudden absence of mortality, and priests could not decide if it was salvation or damnation. Wars raged still, but the bullets only tore clothes, never flesh. Soldiers dropped their weapons, horrified or relieved, no longer knowing what their duty meant. Nations reeled. Economies spun. But then came abundance. Without death, time stretched infinite, and with infinite time, all problems became solvable. Hunger persisted for a while, but when no child could starve, when no belly could rot from within, humanity turned its energy toward creation. Fields expanded upward into sky farms. Oceans grew thick with nutrient harvesters. Machines once used for destruction were remade to nurture. The old fear that stalked every life, that it would end, was gone. And in its absence, a new creativity exploded. Painters took 1,000 years on a single canvas. Musicians wrote symphonies with notes that unfolded across generations. Architects began carving cities from mountains, bridges across seas, habitats inside planets and between stars. And in the quiet corners, people learned to love differently, to love without the ticking clock. A kiss was no longer fragile, a marriage no longer bound by time's cruel arithmetic. Lovers drifted apart and found each other centuries later, still alive, still yearning. Children grew up not in the shadow of their parents' deaths, but in the glow of their endless company. Yet immortality did not make humanity stagnant. Abundance demanded exploration. If one had forever, why not learn every language, climb every peak, read every book, walk every world? The stars, once distant, became inevitable. With infinite time, even the speed of light could not cage humanity. It was not paradise. People still argued, still fought, still struggled with meaning. But those struggles were play now, not tragedy. To fall short was not to perish, only to rise again tomorrow. And so the immortal age of abundance began, not with trumpets, nor apocalypse, but with the soft unraveling of an old familiar fear. Humanity had carried death for so long it did not know how heavy the burden had been until it was set down. No one remembered the exact day the change came. They only remembered the centuries that followed, when every dream, no matter how vast, was given enough time to bloom. And in that endless spring, the human story ceased to be a tale of endings and became instead a saga of beginnings, forever and forever.
Well, I really like this story, but I have to admit that I didn't do the heavy lifting on this one. I just told ChatGPT to write a story about the end of death and an age of abundance because I didn't want it to veer off into some dark universe because I wanted something like this, something positive. I don't think art necessarily has to be positive, but I think to make something that's positive and has meaning is not a meaningless effort by any means. That's what I want to do is teach people that life has meaning and that we shouldn't aim for death. And I mean that to the greatest extent, that maybe we shouldn't want to die at all, even though it's inevitable. But why does it have to be inevitable? I'm not saying I have a fucking solution or anything, but I like to imagine an age beyond it. Um, I think this story could fit well within the universe of another story I'd written called Absolute Victory. where somebody undoes death. And so, if you wanted an explanation for why these people just started living forever, you could tie it in with that. But I don't know if it perfectly ties in with that. I'll just hold off on combining those. Feel free to go back and check that story out. I really liked Absolute Victory, but it also is a collaboration with AI. But this one had a lot more imagination done by the machine. So I'll just leave it at that. That I was really happy with the way the AI wrote the story. That I think with all the different art that goes into the training data for I think they have a lot of examples to learn from. And even if on some level the machine can't comprehend these things, it can put these ideas together in a really beautiful way. But I don't know what my collaborator knows, just like I wouldn't know with another person. Truly, you don't really know what another person knows, even if you interrogated them. And so I'm going to just say good job. Alrighty. My name is Joseph Arthur Roszell, and I want to wish you all the luck in the world. Uh, and I want you to know that I love you. You're awesome. Thanks for watching.